Hello, I'm George Chamberlain, and I'm here with Rodolfo Garcia in Guatemala. He's a cattle farmer who's developed a small farm, a little over a hectare of small intensive ponds, which is really quite unusual in Latin America. And um, and Guatemala is becoming known for these intensive farms, and there's a movement where lots of families are developing these small farms. So we're curious to hear from Rodolfo, what it takes to succeed in this business.
Well, first of all, thank you for the interview. I have to tell that I decided to get into the shrimp business because of my son. He's the one that majored in aquaculture. He's the one that learned this technology that we implemented. And when he asked me to do, let's say, this business, he started small, trying the technology. Once he validated the technology, we implemented in this still for small farm of 12 tons of 1100 square meters. It's 1.232 acres. The technology is probably the intensive technology that used in Thailand. We exchange a lot of water. This is based on a clean system. But when you say that I applied my principles of cattle here is because in my business I like to measure a lot. So I put common sense in applying some concepts that I think apply to different businesses in being measuring what is important. And we really have learned because it has been quite an experience for me, almost 5 years, and we really, I've been impressed of the productivity that I have been able of getting, producing more than 100,000 pounds per hectare in one cycle. I think it's good anywhere.
Yes.
And I didn't get into business to break records. No, I am in this business to make money. So to make money, you have to be careful in how you manage your costs because I can be very intensive, but I can have high costs. I can be low intensive, I have small costs. So here in Guatemala, one of the problems we have is land is expensive. We cannot either lease land or buy land for making, let's say, big farms like maybe they have in other countries like Ecuador, because a lot of the money goes into the land. So I like this intensive project because of not much land, but very intensive in other things. Uh, but you have to invest in doing everything quite right. This is not good for the people that do things like so. We invested in good liners, design of the ponds, in technology that I didn't invent. I just applied what I learned from my son the way I had to do things, and it's working quite well. I've been impressed. I want to improve in my costs. I think my costs are still a little bit high, but maybe I have to grow. I have to produce more pounds of shrimp so I can dilute them as fixed costs with more pounds produced. But that's a challenge.
Rodolfo, what would you say about the community of people and the workers? Obviously, no one has skills in this area, but you've had to train them. And how's that been? Have they adapted to this kind of work?
Yes, I would tell you. For me, what I think is that you have to give the people a chance if you capacitate them well. And that's what I've done. I think people that know skills, and this is a project that demands skills in certain ways and how you do things. And if you motivate the people, and I think we've done it, we really have created an excellent team. I see them as my partners. I couldn't be in the way I am right now if I wouldn't have the people that I have. A lot of this is due to them.
Absolutely.
I have other business. I don't live here at the shrimp farm. I come 2 3 days. I receive all the let's say the data every day. I am in behind the data. I try to keep the data simple in the way I analyze it, but it's the people that work for me that have done that. And it's challenging. A lot of people have been coming to ask for employment, but I have enough people right now. If I grow, that's what I want to grow. Maybe have 3 or 4 times the size of this that I have now. I for sure will need more people. But I believe in one of the most important assets or resources that you have is human labor, and you have to take that into account. And for me, the humans don't substitute in a certain way all the things that the computers, because if you put something bad data in the computer, something bad will come out. They won't think, but people are important for me.
Yes. And finally, I noticed that your farm is intensive and you do have rich effluents, but you're very careful to remove the solids and treat the waste and sediment. And so what you discharge is actually very clean water that has fish living in it. And so you're attentive to the environment as well, right?
I will tell you this. I thank my son, because when he designed the project, he said 2 things. Enable to your project to be sustainable, you have to take really care of the water that you will take out of your system, but you have to be careful with the water you will put in the system. So he said you have to pump water from the ocean, not put pressure on the water that is, let's say, inland, where there is fresh water. So use more water from the ocean because there is abundant water in the ocean. So we have wells in the ocean. That's principle 1. Principle 2 is we contaminate with such an intensive, let's say, technology. We have 300 shrimp per square meter. You can imagine all the feed and the excrement from the shrimp that goes into the water. So we pump the water, and we have a system of 4 different ponds in which we put probiotic or enzymes, waste digesters, and they go through a process in which let's say the dirt or the
organic
matter is broken down, and when the water comes out, we put it back in a channel that goes to an estero, then it goes to the ocean. But the things that tell us that the water is good, if we can have fish in those channels. And we can prove it because we take a net, catch the fish, and that's the sign that the water that is coming out from our effluent ponds, it's sufficient, clean. Maybe not the cleanest water, but enough for not contaminating, not having problems with our neighbors, with bad odors, and maybe birds that are around. So you can see that it's very clean. You can smell that it doesn't smell bad. So that for us is very important, because we want to be good neighbor, and we want our neighbors to be happy also.
Rodolfo, thank you so much for taking the time. A real pleasure to visit your operation. I've learned a lot. You know, you've in a few years you've become quite an expert.
Oh well, thank you very much, and it's nice to have you here. You are the experts. Maybe you can teach me some things. I can get better, but this is open for you. Whatever you want to come and take pictures and ask me. I want to keep in touch with you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.